Hello YouTube, 87 Ricer here. So, I figured I'd do a video. So far, I'm almost up to 200 miles on the bike. It's been a perfect in-town bike. 2025. In my hometown, I'm riding about, I'm staying first and second gear in town. When I go out of town, when I'm following behind a little red rocket, then I'm doing about third gear, 30 mile an hour. But 20, 25, I'm in second gear. So it's a perfect bike for in town, loving it. I'm riding more on my mini bikes this year. My Sportster has been I've been kind of neglect riding it. It runs fine, nothing's wrong with it. I just haven't had the itch to ride my Sportster since my buddies, since they don't really ride motorcycles and they can really only ride like mopeds. I've just been riding small bikes, and having the Honda Grom works perfect to allow my buddies Tetnasato and Classy Common to jump onto the little red rocket and rip around on that. And, when we're hanging together. And obviously, when I picked this bike up, I actually picked it up from Big St Charles Motorsports in St Charles, Missouri. I'm just going to call it Big St Charles. It is Big St Charles. I'm going to call it St Charles. That's what I'm going to call it. I can't remember if it's actually St Charles or not. I just know that's what the building name is. Anyways, picked the bike up from there. But how I came to acquire the bike. All right. So here's where the story starts. My other brother, Simple Living 1980, he's got Yamaha Zuma, and he let me ride that Yamaha Zuma, and I instantly liked it. Amtrak. So anyways, I instantly liked the Yamaha Zuma, and I was interested in getting the Yamaha Zuma. So I went to a bike shop in Union, Missouri, and I had asked them if they actually had a Yamaha Zuma, and they did. They had the Yamaha Zuma. So I was $500 short of actually being able to purchase it. I had enough money to buy it, but I didn't want to finance the rest of it. So I walked away without the bike and ended up sitting on it for the weekend. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back and I'm going to write a check for the exact amount that they're asking. Well, I went back with the blank check after Labor Day weekend. Went back with that blank check. I was ready to purchase that bike. And what had happened was I went back inside and told the guy, I said, I'm here to actually buy it. I'll pay what you're wanting, So we were getting everything ready to rock and roll. Papers, all they had to do was just be signed. But the bike wasn't even, it didn't even have a battery the battery wasn't charged on it. It was the bike wasn't even, you weren't able to start it up. It was just, I guess they said that they unhooked it to prevent the battery from draining. Well, I said, just to be on the safe side, could you put a new battery in it? That way, in case the battery is actually bad, I have a fresh battery. And the manager, the one, not the one that that meets you at the door and says, hey, let's talk, what are you interested in? I'm talking the guy that actually handles the money, that actually does the agreement, the big dog, so to speak. Anyways, I was talking to him, and he said, yeah, we're not going to put a new battery in it because we're already losing money on it. And I was like, okay, maybe the battery's not that bad. So I just said, all right, I'll go ahead and do that, leave the original one in it. They said, we'll just charge up the one that's on it and go from there. I said, okay. Went ahead and was getting everything going, went inside to go, went inside his office to start signing papers, and I said, can I at least take the bike for a ride? That way I want to be able to test it out. And he said, absolutely not. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, you can't. He goes, he gave me the reason of somebody else was riding one of their bikes and ended up wrecking it, and he's not the insurance, and insurance doesn't allow you to ride it. And so I didn't even get a chance to ride the bike, and I was gonna buy it. And I said, okay, I said, well, what if I purchase this bike and I decide, I get down the road and something happens and I need to bring it back? And he said, no return policy. So if I would have done the deal then and not liked it and made it right up the street and decided, okay, this isn't for me, I would have lost my money. There was no return. I didn't have a chance to ride. I did not have a chance to ride it. No return policy, and he was very firm on his price. And it was a 2023 Yamaha Zuma. And for the price, I was like, I was willing to buy it, but only if I could test ride it, and he wouldn't even let me do that. And so I said, well, let me think about this. I said, if I leave after paying you the money for purchasing it and I don't like it, I get down the road, maybe the battery shits out on me the next day, brand new bike that I just purchased for me, and something goes wrong and I want to bring it back, no return policy. So I'm screwed. So I said, let me think on that. So I left. Right after I left the parking lot, I called up Big St. Charles and I said, hey, do you have a Yamaha Zuma? And they said, we actually don't. He said, are you interested in something else? And I said, do you got any Honda Groms? Knowing that they most likely would, he said, yes, we got 4 of them. And I said, cool, I will come and look at it and see which one I'd be interested in taking off your hands. And so he said, all right, well, come on in. So the next day, I went there. I went to Big St. Charles, took my buddy Classy Coleman with me, and here I am. I got the Grom. Worked out for me. Classy Common, good luck charm, helped me get it. Followed me there, or he drove me there, drove me back, because I went with a check and I was gonna write them out a check, and they said, well, if you had cash, we could do this right away. You could take the bike home. And I said, well, I put the cash in the bank so I could get a check so I could write it out for the other place that didn't work out. So I wanted the bike. Unfortunately, I had to check that day. So I wrote out a check part of the way, as a down payment. Got it secured. Chose this bike. Love it. Can't change my mind about it. I love the bike. It's a good bike. But yeah, went the next day, brought the cash. Paper signed. Now I'm a happy rider. Rode this bike all the way back from St. Charles. I'm 250 pounds. On this little 125, it still hauled me around. I'm like a parachute in the wind on this bike. So I got it up to 65, 66, and it was throwing the dummy light flashing, it wanted that extra gear, and it only has 5 gears. So yeah, I was able to hit 65 on it, but it was flashing like crazy and screaming at me. So at a comfortable 45 mile an hour, I can ride this bike all the way to, I can ride it just fine. It's very comfortable at 45. Thing is, I have had many Honda Rebel 250s, and every time I rode those, they were doing 45. So at 45, this is riding just comfortably. It has no problem at 45. I had plenty of Honda Rebels. They did 45, 55, 60, So I just said, I've had plenty of Honda Rebels. I just want to go with something different and perfect in-town bike. So I can ride around all day, throw my buddies on here. Well, I know Tetanus Auto can ride a bike. I had him on one of my Honda Rebels, and he did flawless. He knows how to ride bikes. Classic Common, however, he can't really ride clutch bikes. He's in the process of learning, just not on any of my bikes. But he can ride scooters, so I designated my little red Rocket as a scooter that Tetanus Auto and Classic Common can jump on, because my wife hasn't really been riding it. She's just not interested in riding. And me, I put almost 3,000 miles on Little Red Rocket, so it's earned its stripes, it's earned its mileage. I know that bike has a lot of miles, but it keeps on ticking, and now I can use it as a loaner bike. So yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about. How I acquired it was from a deal gone sour at a dealership in Union, Missouri. And as much as I want to say the dealership name, I'm not going to say the dealership name that I went to in Union, Missouri, because honestly, I don't want to brag about them. I don't even want to acknowledge the fact that the head honcho there wasn't even being remotely fair to me. I was ready to buy a bike, and he rubbed me the wrong way. Sour, firm price on what he wanted, and no return policy and no test ride. I went to Big St Charles, and they let me test ride. So, I'm happy with the Grom. You know what they say about vehicles? You bring out one vehicle, next thing you know it, everybody brings out the same kind of vehicle. Right now, I think I'm the only Honda Grom in Hermann, Missouri. But I'm sure somebody else is going to be ripping around on a Honda Grom not too long from now, that they've spotted me riding my Honda Grom. My daughter actually asked me, what did you name the bike? And I said, Zipper, because I zip around the streets of town. And she said, Zipper sounds cool. And I said, but I've also thought about just calling it Zip, because I zip around the roads. And she said, no, I like Zipper better. So Zipper is the name of the Honda Grom. And so I got Zipper, I've got Little Red Rocket, I still got my Sportster Insanity, and my 87 Camaro Bumblebee, and my Toyota Camry Toya, a truck Sierra, and my wife's Buick Bossy Bot. Almost every one of my vehicles are a transformer of some sort, because I love Transformers. So I usually end up putting a Transformer sticker on my vehicles. I haven't yet christened the Grom with the Transformer logo yet, but I will at some point. So yeah, there's the story about how I got the Grom. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend ahead of you. Finish out the week on a high note. Love y'all. Those who have should give. Peace, love, and joy. I'm 87 Ricer. Bye.